Hello Taurus, Elsie here with your weekly bonus. How you doing, Bull Gang? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. Taurus, we're going to find out what is going on, and these bonus reads are whenever they happen, right? So whatever comes up does and is a general reading. Keep that in mind. But if you are a Taurus sun, moon, rising, Venus, or Jupiter, there could be something here for you. Taurus, this is just a gentle reminder that we do have a lot of stuff happening tomorrow on the 12th of August, 2026. That's when I'm doing this reading. We have a new moon in Leo, a partial solar eclipse, a meteor shower, and a planet parade, which includes Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, all on the same day. Now, the in-between of the eclipses is between the 12th and the 28th. So don't be surprised if a lot of these readings are about things that are changing, moving out of your life. What are you still performing that you've already outgrown? I guess we'll see. Let's find out what's going on for Taurus, please. We've got the Two of Wands. There we go. We're already making decisions. Feel like there's been a plan going on in the background. We're making decisions. This is something you've already planned, but you've neglected to action the plan. It feels like you're going to have a decision to make. Would you rather go back to where you came from, or would you rather have this realization and move forward? I feel like this eclipse, the moon and the sun are both here. I feel like this eclipse is it's gonna force you to get out of this place where you've been doing the cha-cha, Taurus. And I don't mean that you've been doing it in your life. I think you've been doing it in your mind or in your energy, because the Five of Wands just showed up. So it does feel like you're about to stand up for yourself, stand up for something, or block someone, possibly, or maybe just pull in your boundaries a little bit. It feels like there's been something you've been doing and you know you've got to change it, but the Five of Wands indicates that there has been some indecision, or possibly a battle going on within, saying, I'm not really sure if now's the right time to tighten these boundaries or to put down the boundaries. Put them down and pull them in, right? We have the Nine of Swords in the reverse, and I think that's good advice. It says in the future, you will do this, Taurus, but I feel like don't worry about it. I feel like when it happens naturally. I don't think this is something that you're going to have to action in fire. You know what I mean? You're not going to be like, I'm not talking to you, slam down the boundaries. I think it's going to happen quite naturally when you no longer feel nervous about the future. Tell me more. We have the Seven of Cups. See this energy here? Yeah, sort of confused. Should I do it now? Is it an illusion? Do I have more opportunities? If I stop this, if I release myself from something I've already outgrown, do I have other options? Like, it feels like you're trying to figure out what to do next. You haven't quite figured it out here, but it looks like you will, because the Eight of Cups tells me that you are definitely detaching from emotions when it comes to making some sort of decision, right? We've got the Eight of Cups and the Nine of Swords in the reverse. I'm not going to worry about detaching. I've got to stop feeling this out with emotion and go with some logic. I feel like there is something here that you could do without, something that you've already outgrown. Maybe you've been performing in your life for somebody, but it feels like it is time, or will be time. I'm not going to say it is time. It will be time whenever you're ready to detach from something here, because of coming to a decision that you have to do this. It has to make logical sense to you, Taurus. I feel like you're making a logical decision to detach emotionally from something and to stop worrying about the outcome of it. I feel like there is something here that you're standing up for or standing up about. There's an opportunity to make a decision here that you've been planning to do for a while. I think that you're waiting for something to really piss you off before you make the decision. Something, an employer, but it feels like you've been holding back in indecision, or maybe battling yourself a little bit about what the outcome might be. Honestly, I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. We've got the Four of Wands. We've got the Four of Cups. Well, there we go. There's the issue. Somebody here is in a comfort zone here. It feels like this is not my usual gig. I don't usually do this. I don't usually make decisions based in fire. I usually make decisions based in logic. And so I feel like it feels like it's an emotional disconnect that you have to do before you can actually make the decision with the facts and the details. So you're feeling some kind of way about something. And I mean, like maybe you're emotionally attached to someone, a thing, a person, a job, something that is maybe nostalgic for you. But it feels like you've really got to let go of how you feel about it and really look at the details. What is this really doing for my life? And is it something that is going to help me move into the future? So we've got the Four of Wands and we've got the Four of Cups. There is stability here, but listen, I'm just going to say nothing ever grows in the comfort zone. But I feel like you're in this place where I just want to keep my emotions stable. I want to keep the emotions stable with the people around me. I really do feel like we got the 5 and the 4. It feels like something that happened a long while ago that you're trying to ignore. You're like, they did it out of fire. They did it out of emotion. It feels like you are trying to keep the peace, I would say, with the, maybe trying to keep the peace in the family, maybe your family, maybe your mother, dad, sister, brother. Feels like you're trying to keep the peace, and that's why you're in this 5 of Wands. But this 5 of Wands is keeping this fiery battle energy within you, and that's not good either. We've got the Death card. Yeah, you're definitely coming to the decision to let something go here. It feels like something's got to change because I think that you're the one that's taking the brunt of all of this. And what I mean by that is this could be anxiety. This could be constantly thinking about it. I feel like you're battling, making some sort of decision, letting something go. It feels like it's going to be outside of your comfort zone, friend, to do this, but it does feel like it's something you've been thinking about doing for a while. It feels like something that you might have been doing a lot. And maybe you're just saying to your friend group, look, I just don't want to go to that location anymore. I'm not interested in that venue. I don't want to do that thing. But I feel like you know that you might possibly offend somebody. It feels as though there is something that has to do with the 9 of Wands. So you're right on the edge of making this decision. So, the in-between of being between August 12th and August 28th, which we have these 2 eclipses, one solar, one lunar, it feels like something naturally just stops. You stop going there, you stop doing things because you're putting up boundaries, right? So I feel like 5 and 2, 7, you're putting up boundaries. You just back away and say, no, I'm not going to say anything about it, but I'm just going to do it because it's the right thing to do for myself. So we've got the 8 of Wands. Let the rest of them push forward here. I think you really are pushing forward into the future here. This almost feels like it's time for you to realize that things are moving fast in your life. And I feel like you're really specifically looking at where you need to put your intentions, I'm going to say. Being really intentional with your time. It feels like something is going to pick up here, but I feel like it's when you finally settle yourself in this King of Swords, 9 of Swords energy, when you finally release something and let it go, something that's been, I feel like, looping in the mind. I feel like it finally stops looping and you're like, no, I got to depart from here. We have the High Priestess. So you've been keeping it inward. You've not been saying what you think. You've not been telling somebody how you feel. You've not been making the specific decision. You've been keeping it inward, keeping it silent. You want to move forward, and maybe the rest of the people in your life don't want to move forward. Maybe they just can't get out of the 80s or the 90s. Maybe they're just looping in their own lives, right? This happens sometimes when we have friends who are in terrible relationships, but they won't leave. It's like something here is looping, and you're like, well, I do have the opportunity to put up my walls and go. But I feel like it's going to, it feels like you're doing something out of the ordinary because you're very loyal, but the Hierophant being in the reverse tells me it's probably going to destroy a foundation or a foundation of loyalty that I've had to someone, something, a job, a workplace, a volunteer thing, a friend, a family member. It feels like this Hierophant energy is like, traditionally what I would have done is I would have just stayed here, not said anything, been loyal to whatever the situation, the person, place, or thing is. And I feel like your intuition is saying, no, you have to make this change, and now is the time. Look, I don't think you're making this change because we're in eclipse season. I think it's the other way around. I think eclipse season is encouraging you to make changes. It feels like you're taking control of something here, but look, not everybody likes the Emperor. Some people call the Emperor egoic. Some people call them a conqueror. Like you see when you watch other readers, right? You see, depending on what goes on around the Emperor is how people feel about it. See, it feels like you are somebody who's been thinking about a past time in your life when you actually were in control of a situation, or it was you that made a decision regardless of what everyone else thought about you. It might have been a decision that I feel you wish you could find the courage to make right now. I've got the 2 of Cups. I feel like the reason I feel like this is a hard decision or a hard move for you to make, but I think you'll make it in silence, friend. I don't think you're going out with a bang or saying to somebody, I'm just not texting you or returning your calls anymore. I feel like you're going out in silence. I really feel like you're just backing away from a boundary that you've set here. But it feels like in the past, I would say that you were a person who would stand on what you believe in, keep everything in control. And I feel like you've let someone pass the boundary, or you feel emotionally about someone. It could be that this person is somebody who you are entangled with emotionally, like romantically. It feels like you're about ready to make some sort of a really big decision, because it feels like there is something here that that you see of value. And I think what you see of value is that the future, I think, is a place where you're building stability, getting control of your health. It feels like you're being very specific, particular, and intentional about how you're spending your time, your energy, your effort, your money. It almost feels like whatever you're doing, you're feeling like this is not forwarding me into the future. It's not part of my future. So I really do feel something is ending here, my friend. And it feels like you coming out of your comfort zone is the beginning of it. I also feel like the stability, the emotional stability between you and somebody else is about to end, because you've decided transformation is what you want. And that's why the Hierophant is in the reverse. We've got the 2 of Wands, and it brings up the 9 of Pentacles. I feel like you make the decision. The plan is, I'm building for myself. I have to do something for myself. I feel like you are somebody who is overgiving to everyone around you, servicing everyone around you, making sure you meet obligations so people don't feel badly about you not showing up. It does feel like this decision has been a plan for a while, and the plan is the 9 of Pentacles. I need to build this part. I need to build this on my own. I need to take care of my obligations. You might be somebody who has a lot of obligations, but I feel like everything that you've gone through up to here has built you into the 9 of Pentacles. And now I feel like it's okay for you to detach logically and emotionally from something that you've been doing that is actually taking your view off of yourself. It feels like you've been engaged in helping everybody else get to their goals, and now it's time for you to get to your goals. So I feel like you are becoming more confident, taking care of your health. It feels like there's something going on in your Pentacle world that you are doing for you now. You might be just staying home, head down, building your business. But it feels like this leg of the race, friend, I feel is something you're going to have to build by yourself. Look, we shuffled and the Emperor is back. So I feel like you feel or see the benefits of being a little more selfish with your time, of putting up the boundaries and saying, no, I know I usually go to that thing once a week, but I'm only going to be able to attend once a month. So I hope I'm not hurting your feelings with that. But so I feel like you are taking back your power, or that you are standing in your power. I feel like you've always been powerful, Taurus. It's not like you're just finding this out. I think that you've always been in this Emperor energy, but I also think that you've been giving I would say leeway to people who I think that you have heart space for. This could be someone you're dating. This could be someone that it could be a job that you love, an extracurricular activity that you love. And then we have the 3 of Pentacles. You are building something, friend. I feel like you're pulling your energy back because it's time for me to focus on me and build something for myself. I feel like you've gotten really organized about, I feel like there's like a foundation. It feels like what you're doing is cutting back your friendship group, or deciding work is for work and that this is not my family, or it feels like you're changing your mind about what it is that makes you feel emotional and what it is that makes you feel emotionally overwhelmed. So I think that the 3 of Pentacles is telling me that you are in the midst of building, organizing. It does feel like you are making some changes in your life, and they're going to benefit you now and not everybody else. But the Emperor is the one who makes the unilateral decisions, right? I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm just saying no with a period at the end. I can't do that for you anymore. So the 3 of Pentacles is here. I feel like you do have a small group of friends, Taurus, or that you are shaving the edges off. I feel like that you are no longer going to things that are going to be, you feel like are wasting your time. I feel like you are going to make investments, but very specific investments of time, energy, effort, money. I feel like you're doing things very intentionally. And it's not like you weren't before, but I feel like you are making changes. And I think that this eclipse season is probably asking you to look at really, what have you outgrown already? Because I feel like you outgrew this a long time ago, but you keep doing it because it makes other people feel better. Tell me about the King of Swords. I think this King of Swords shows up to show you the truth I feel like you've been living in this bit of emotional illusion that if I'm just kind to people, people will be kind back. But I don't really think that that's how it's working. I don't think they're being unkind, but I think that you show up for everybody and people don't show up for you sometimes. We've got the Queen of Cups. We've got the Seven of Wands. There it is. I was counting it here, 5 and 2. The Seven of Wands shows up. Universe says, yes, you're absolutely correct with making really hard decisions, harsh decisions even, about... I think that the only way that you're going to be able to move forward, Taurus, is by cutting the weights off your ankles, is what it feels like. And I'm not saying that there are people in your life that are holding you back, but I feel like you want to hold back because you're hoping people will come into that next cycle or chapter with you. And I don't think that everybody has the time, has the energy, has the courage to do that like you do at this point in your life, because we're not all at the same point in our life at the same time. So the Queen of Pentacles, or the Queen of Cups is here, and look at this, it showed up with the Seven of Wands. So I think you're trying to make compassionate and kind boundaries. So instead of saying, no, I'm not doing that with you, you're going to say, no, I hope you don't get upset, but I'm not going to be able to attend that this time. I feel like you have been going to things you feel obligated to do because it might be someone, it might be your boyfriend or girlfriend has been saying, oh, come on, my parents really want us to attend this dinner. Or it could be, a friend is like, okay, here we go. We're doing this once a month or once every 6 weeks. Friend get together, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to see all of those people, but I do want to see you. So if you have time to see me one-on-one, that'd be great. So I think you're trying to be as kind and compassionate as you can with your boundaries, because I feel like you've got some exciting ideas. You feel like something more exciting is in the future. I feel like, Taurus, I feel like you're very excited to be in your own company, some of you. Not all of you, of course, because not all of you have learned the lesson of the value of your own company as opposed to being with everybody else. But the Sun is here. There we go. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is eclipse energy if I ever saw it. Look at that, right? The Sun, the Judgment card, and the Tower. Taurus, I think something is coming to a realization that it's time for you to turn around and look and look at all the paths instead of traveling the one path in order to make everyone else in your life happy and stable emotionally. It feels like the Sun in the future, this is future energy for me, the Sun is making you realize something, and that is that the Judgment card is here. I think that the universe has been beckoning you to go out on this leg of the race by yourself. And I'm not saying ignore everybody, I'm saying still be social, but I feel like you're having some sort of a realization that, or possibly an awakening, that not everything that you're doing is contributing to the building of your empire. And so I do feel that, it feels like, I feel like you're letting go of these people. Like, I don't think it's everybody, but I feel like you're letting go of the people who are making you feel as though you are a burden, making you feel as though they never make time for you. You always make time for them and they never make time for you. The people who make you feel like you're in the Nine of Wands, that you're not worth the energy, that you're not worth the time. I think you're tired. You're done. I don't think you're going to be doing that for people anymore. And I think this really includes romantic relationships, my friends. If you're getting breadcrumbed from somebody who you have a lot of feelings for, but this person is not giving you what you're giving them, I think it's time to really reevaluate. And I really think that that's what this energy is coming up for the rest of August. It's the reevaluation period that's going to take you into whatever it is that you're going to do going on for the rest of the year. But when the King of Swords shows up, the King of Swords is making cuts unapologetically. Not saying to the person rudely or unapologetically, look, you're not worth my time. But this is a thought process. This is like, I'm really looking at what is worth my time, who is not helping me feel good about myself, feel good about my accomplishments. Because not everybody in your friend group feels good about your accomplishments. I'm sorry if I'm busting your bubble, but not everybody that you know is happy for your accomplishments. I can say that probably most of my friends don't give two craps what I do on YouTube. They really don't. They don't watch, they never have, and they don't ask me what's going on in my life, or if I'm having success, or if I'm not having success. They just don't ask. I turn up for them all the time, and sometimes they just don't turn up for me. And I feel like that's what you're looking. Oh, you're looking at choices, friend. There we go. We shuffled and it comes back. There we go. Yeah. I always call the Empress, like, the Empress is like you going to the next level or the next energetic level. It feels like you are expanding in your life, and I always sort of give you the little ditty about Alice in Wonderland, because Alice was, the problem was not that Alice was growing. The problem was the space in which she was outgrowing was too small. So it's not the fact that you're growing that is the problem. It's that you are trying to put yourself in a box that you no longer fit in, because you want to keep the people that you have heart space for in your friend group, in your life. You want to keep dating that person because it makes you feel good. We've got the Lovers. The Lovers is a choice. And then we have the Tower. There's a realization coming, Taurus, that maybe you, instead of thinking one way, you will think another, Gemini, right? And so it feels like you're realizing now that this is the place where I am just going to let drop off what drops off. And if it does leave, if it does go, when I put down the boundaries and they wander off and never come back, let them go. That's what the in-between is about. I'm not going to chase it. So the Judgment card says, look, this keeps coming back to you, Taurus, asking you to make decisions. But I just think that everything that's going on, especially the eclipses and the in-between, I would say, is this place where you, when it comes around this time, it now causes a Tower. It feels like it's a something you thought you wouldn't do, a decision you thought you wouldn't make, a choice you thought you wouldn't make. But I feel like you're about to break down this Two of Swords. The place where you didn't want to make the decision because you didn't want to hurt anybody else is now the place where you are pursuing whatever it is that your wisdom is telling you to pursue. It feels like you're feeling very inspired to keep moving ahead, and I feel it's because you've jumped into this new timeline here, Taurus. Look, I'm going to leave this right here. Thank you so much for being here and watching. Taurus, we're going to talk more about this coming into next week, into our weeklies, because really eclipse energy, it lasts quite a long time, and we're going to talk more about this in the new week, okay? Thanks so much for coming here and watching. I appreciate you. I'll be back because I'm always back, and if you are back here, we'll do this again. Take care. Bye-bye.